And I tried something backwards there, right? Because good point and a good question. And my point of my question was, how am I being brainwashed constantly, Because I mean, my fluctuation shouldn't be as much as it has been, I shouldn't be fluctuating at every person, at everything that I think about, or anything that I hold in thought. I shouldn't feel like my mind is a runaway train. But I do. That's constantly. I live like basically trying to run for myself, run from my thoughts, which basically activates this condition factor in your body that releases like cortisol, adrenaline. Fight or flight basically is what I feel like they really push for. But again, it's basically just brainwashing all day. I have something sitting on my spirit. We all speaking narratives, look at her butt, or trying to read my internal workings. If I'm like trying to be a good guy and work on good habits, like not letting my eyes just constantly dwell on every ass or every pair of boobs that I see, So, and that's where they show up, because they don't want you tuning yourself in internally, because clearly it's as simple as a decision, right? So right now I've just been so aware that, I've had this battle brought to my forefront, to be like, the one who's at the front line. So being that I'm at the front line, it's my responsibility to keep everybody up to date on what's going on and the thought processes that they're here insisting on. Right now, it's basically what I think about being possessed, how I arrive at such a perception of myself or of circumstances, and thus, they're about negativity and brewing it in you, because they're basically here seeding our brain. That's what propaganda is. Seed, and then get you to forget eventually that you were seeded, thus responding, reacting, thinking those thoughts are yours, and they are not. They were seeded in your brain, So all this possession, and whether I can murder while I'm possessed, and whether the world's gonna blame me or the thing is possessing me. Because at the moment, they're not here helping me, telling me anything that I could do to, hook myself up from being, so susceptible to influence, manipulation. I've actually grown up in a society that has raised me to be everything that is subservient, not only been castrated chemically, but we're not even living in nature. And here we are trying to think of how can I be more natural? I mean, am I in nature? No, I'm in a construct of control where everything is structured, constructed to have what is basically plans, purpose, dedication, manipulation, power, control. So that's where I'm at. I'm here figuring out how to have my power for myself, how to have my control for myself. And then I'm also realizing how every time I gain more power in that area about myself, of myself, how society has targeted us in those instances to blame you, to guilt trip you, to love bomb you, any tactic to get you to feel victimized. And we're not victims here. We're co-creators existing with each other.